Wow, 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 stop. Uh, TikTok.
Nice, great
TikTok.
first impression.
Yeah, yeah.
For legal implications, I have to tell you that you're being filmed and recorded.
Am I, oh, crap. Am I being
Yeah, just
recorded all now?
yeah, it's gonna be for the COPPA laws, the ones that are like the children's protection or whatever that YouTube is gonna make us follow now.
So now we have to be like, hey guys, so we're recording each other and we give each other consent to record
And
each other. So
not only that,
nobody record us.
not only that, but we also are gonna do a 3 a.m. dark web mystery box unboxing that cost us $100,000.
Yeah, if I had, you know what I would be doing right now if I had that much actually, probably nothing, because everything's closed. You know, rich people, everyone gives rich people crap about, oh yeah, you got all this money right now, so you must be comfortable. Dude, rich people don't know what to do with themselves right now. You can't go spend your money on anything. You're just sitting at home. Who are you gonna flaunt your money to?
My problem is I'm wondering, like, are they losing money because they're not doing anything with it? I'm wondering if, like, all their liquidated properties, if all of their stocks are tanking. I'm wondering if rich people are starting to go broke. But here's the real take. The coronavirus is completing the goal of destroying the economy the way that Bernie Sanders is planning to. Rich people
Which
are going broke and everyone is unemployed.
we're pretty late to the, well, since we just started this podcast, we're pretty late to the discussion, but Mr. Sanders has actually dropped out of the election.
No, 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 no. He didn't drop out. He suspended his campaign. He said,
Yeah, he suspended his
"Uh,
campaign.
I'm in a bit of an awkward position. Okay, so, I'm not canceling. I'm not canceling. What it is that I'm doing, running for president. I'm just suspending it. So I'm still in the running. I'm just not running. You know what I mean? I'm just,
Yeah.
instead of running, I'm walking."
Right now, all of the candidates are so old and they're probably like peeing on themselves because of this virus, except for Trump, who's just kind of like, no, 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 no,
Okay,
no,
listen, like,
no.
just this virus is some very deadly stuff, okay? Very spreadable.
He's
Very, very
probably
contagious.
he's probably just sitting at home right now, just eating like the dumbest thing ever. And
Apparently, his doctor says that he has, like, the world's strongest metabolism or something, and that he should have been dead, like, 20 years ago because of how many Big Macs he used to eat.
when
But
your own doctor is just like, yeah, dude, you shouldn't be alive. That's just a bad thing.
I mean, but yeah, but the White House doctor said, yeah, so he could live to be like 200 if he just cleaned up his diet and exercised a little bit. People freaked out about that as
For
much
like
as you can
200 years of
imagine.
Trump. Oh my God. I think people keep forgetting that, presidential time periods exist and eventually he will be out of office. He's not
F-
going to be, it's not like he's going to be president for 200 years.
FDR died during, I think, what was it, his eighth presidential, like, time period. Let me see how long was FDR president? 1933 to 1945. That's a long time.
So let's just do some quick maths here, kids. Quick
That's
maths.
4 terms.
1933 minus what was it? When did he get off?
It's 1945 minus 1933,
1945.
not the other way
So
around.
12, whatever, negative 12 years. Okay. FDR was president in negative 12 years. I'm a
We're going to
brown
get
man.
Trump
I
negative
have.
12 years as the president.
I think he's been president for about 4 years now, and I think he's going into his fifth right now. And with the way the elections are set up, I'm pretty sure he's gonna get through his fifth year. Um,
I I
I
don't know.
don't
I
think
think that it would be almost a mistake to cancel elections, but at the same time, it's way too dangerous for people to be engaging in public behavior such as going to vote. I mean, that is it's absolutely it's so dangerous for people to
Right,
be
and
leaving the house right now.
people aren't happy with at-home voting either because they're just like, oh well, ballot cheating can happen, and all this stuff can happen.
No, it's
So
the
people,
Russians.
yeah, the Russians can infiltrate our UPS pack or USPS mail and stuff like that. So like, people aren't going to be happy with the other result, regardless of Trump winning or not winning. People aren't going to be happy in this situation, and I think that's what's really important to understand. Regardless of what happens and who gets elected, no one is going to be 100% happy. People that are supporting Biden right now are the people that are just like, dude, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get flipping Trump out of here.
I think
Definitely did cuss the first time, but it's fine.
well, you can figure out a way to bleep that out in post. I guess cue the intro, right? Cool. So, anyway, thank you guys for tuning into the very first episode of Life During Quarantine. It's gonna be quite a thrill ride. I know I've already said that, and we did just film the intro, and that's why I just said the exact same thing. We are living in a simulation, my friend. Okay. So just quick question. Yeah. Just quick question. Do you think that birds work for the government?
I think that if we have a big enough society that believes that if the government requires a coronavirus vaccine, that they're trying to insert chips into our body, then I 100% believe that birds work for the government. I mean, we saw it in like anime. I mean, it's in all the animes. You got like
Do you
birds.
remember when we were on our way to Macy's a couple weeks ago before all this started? No, it had to. Look. It's been like a month and a half because we've not
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
the light of day in forever. So, do you remember like the second week in March? We were on our way to Macy's, and there was a cop that drove by, and you said, "I saw that guy at Chick-fil-A," and he was just eating. Like, I was like, yeah, of course he was just eating. What else are you gonna do at Chick-fil-A? Um, and then on the speed limit sign, there was a falcon. Do you remember that? It just blows my mind. I'm sitting here thinking like, the world is ending. Abdullah saw a police officer who just didn't care. Oh, he was at Walmart,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just
he was
getting
at
like
Walmart.
toilet paper
So
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And just chilling, just buying toilet paper, and then all of a sudden there's a falcon perched out on Route 13. No way. The birds definitely work for the government. They work for the family.
Recently has gotten weird when it comes to things like just cops being out and about. I've seen like two or three cops just fly past me recently, and obviously they do that a lot because they're cops. They can do that shit.
They can do whatever
But
they want.
yeah, they can do whatever they want. But he just like flew past me and I'm like keeping behind him, and usually I know if anybody has been following a cop, you know that when you're like close to them, they'll do this little brake check thing where they turn their lights on for a second to make you get away from them, like they're telling you, "Hey, we know you're speeding, so cut it out." No, I can I've been able to follow cops recently at like 80, 90 miles per hour, and they've been like, whatever. Like, yeah, going to DC, I've been able to follow a cop at 90 miles per hour. I was like, well, he doesn't care.
It's funny because it's funny because there's it's such a hypocritical way of driving. You know, okay, so my favorite thing is if I'm on my way to work, right? I'm not going slow. I don't work close to home. I don't anymore. I used to work like 10 minutes away from home, but now the store that's 10 minutes away from home is on lockdown, so I can't work, at the store in town anymore. But the one that's furthest away is one of the ones that I'm driving to, and so if there's a cop behind me, I slow down, right? And because I can smell him. I can smell him coming. I'm just like, he's looking for the Volkswagen. He's looking
Yeah.
for it. So I slow down. I slow down to exactly what the speed limit is, to a T. And then once he blasts past me, I get right in the same lane as him, and I get like within like 2 or 3 car lengths of him, and I go at whatever speed he's going at, because I'm not going as slow as everyone else is, because there are going to be other people that are going to do the exact same thing as me. They're going to see him come up in the rear view, and they're going to go, huh, all right, slow down 15 miles per hour, because they're flying 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. And then I'm just going to be right behind him. I'm going to be in the same lane, I'm just going to fly across. And I'm not slowing down for anything. Come on. If I'm working that far away from home, I'm going 85 miles an hour. I don't care.
And we live really close to the ocean, so whenever we go down there, that's a really terrible spot for the cops. They sit on bends there, and they're just like they're waiting. They're waiting. They're like, so for the record, Waze, please sponsor us. But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
they're just sitting there, just waiting for anybody to come through to see if they can catch you. And it's so stupid because let's just say you are going 85, 90 miles per hour down there, and I'm pretty sure the speed limit's like 55. If you're going like 80 miles per hour, dude, they will hit you with like the stupidest like speeding ticket. Like on my
Sometimes they're
way,
up to. I've seen them that they're like up to like
well,
$250.
you remember
Sometimes, especially
mine
over the
was like
summer.
300. Mine was $300 the one
Yeah.
that I got in the Challenger. What was it, like 80, 89 and a 55? That was stupid.
No, it was like 89 and like a 35 or something dumb. You were like,
Oh
it
yeah, it
was
was
it
like
was it
really
was like
stupid.
40 or 50 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Mine was like $300. When I went to, by the way, I won that court case. But when I went to court for that, when I went to court for that, he just didn't show up, which was hilarious to me. The judge was kind of just looking at me. She was like, "Are you guilty or not guilty?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not guilty." And she was like,
I'm
"All
about to send
right."
you a picture. You can cue this up in post. I'm about to send you a picture. I sent you a text and I sent you a picture. The picture that this you got to cue this up in post. This is you walking. This is you walking out of the courtroom. Just it's time
That
for
was
dinner. I just saved $350.
it was so stupid, and I had two people in there. Oh, this is the crazy thing. All
Well,
right,
hang on,
so
hang on. So
um,
before we get too far ahead of time, so our online listeners and not our video, like the YouTube crowd, if you're listening to this, it's a picture of an old McDonald's character. Not old McDonald as in old McDonald had a farm. Old McDonald as in 1980s McDonald's commercials, and it was a character who's in the shape of a moon, named Mac Tonight. And so he used to do this thing where he would sing like Bobby Darin's Mac the Knife, and then all of a sudden at the end he would go, "It's time for dinner." And that's what Abdullah said after he was done with his court case. He had $350 that he pocketed after. Well, no, 250 because you had to pay your court fees, which was like $100,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, it was stupid. But what I was saying was like, so when you're in a small town, which my car, since I got pulled over, because I was going into the city, I got pulled over in a smaller town. When you have a court case in a smaller town, they will do civil court cases, traffic court cases, and criminal court
it's
cases
so
all in the
hilarious.
same area. So
It's so
this is
hilarious.
me, I'm in there with my speeding ticket, and then there's a rapist in there, or like over the TV screen. So he comes in over the, like, they're literally showing live video feed from the prison, the local prison, and it's literally like a rapist that got caught in that county. And he was just getting his sentence, and she was like, yeah, we're not gonna release you, you need to go to like rehab and do all that stuff. And I was just like, I just want my, citation to be released so I can go home. This is awkward. There was one of those. There was somebody that robbed someone at gunpoint in there. I was like, are you crazy? I
This
was
was
like, this is
Easton too, wasn't it?
insane. Yeah, it was freaking Easton. I was like, this is insane. Like Talbot County, this small county has a rape case and a robbery case on the same day that I'm supposed to get my civil court case looked at. Granted, I did get it. I'm pretty sure I got it pushed forward because that's what I was told to do. They were like, you just reschedule it a few times so the cop doesn't show
How many times did you push it off?
twice. I had two excuses. One
Didn't
was
he
like
even tell you
I
that he
wasn't
wasn't
able
going
to
to
make
show
it.
up too?
Yeah, he told me he wasn't gonna show up. So like so this is what happened. So you guys, I was driving. I had wrecked my car. And I had hit a deer. So I was driving a 2018 Dodge Challenger, that we had gotten from our rental place. And dude, that thing, I was flying down that road in that thing. And when he did pull me over, of course, I used the same excuse. I was like, hey, man, it's a rental. It's my dad's car. I've never driven it before. So
You need to stop
I'm
talking
sorry.
because you're giving your secrets that like so all the cops that are listening to you right now, they know they're on to you now. They're gonna be like, yeah, so you're that kid from that Ricky Dink podcast, right? You're
Like
you're the one who was flying 15 miles an hour over the speed limit after you hit a deer, right? That's what I thought.
that deer died.
I'm sure you're so proud of yourself.
My mom was really mad at me. She was
Did you call all your redneck friends and say like, look, it's a 5 point. I don't even know how do you measure a buck?
Yeah, someone give us like comment. Just tell us how you measure a buck. I want to
Yeah,
know.
like
I've always
how,
been interested in hunting.
Let's see. How many Google searches am I gonna make during this? How
How do you
to measure a buck?
And hopefully when we
A
start doing
buck.
if we start doing these live, then you guys can watch in person, and then you can give us topics to talk about
It's
in person.
called scoring a buck.
I thought that's what you did to a tree.
Scoring a tree. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. So it's a point system. So it's a 5 point buck.
I mean, mine was big. It was like it had like antlers like this. Like, oh my god, this
You look like a
looks so people like can't see this in
you got the donkey moose ears going on.
yeah, going donkey. Yeah. I hit a donkey, guys. I hit a horse. Dude, do you know how scary it would be if you hit a horse? Do you know how scary that would be?
Nah,
if you hit
have
a horse?
You have to. So there was this a friend of mine, Carter's mom.
Oh.
So she had a friend in high school who was speeding way too fast, and there was a deer that came up, and she hit the brakes. Now the advice, like when you're about to hit a deer, is that you don't slow down. You break their legs like spaghetti, and you let them fly over your car.
Thing, so they don't come through the windshield.
Yeah, so she slammed on her brakes, and the deer's hoof came through the windshield and took her jaw clean right off of her face. Like, it completely dislocated her jaw and ripped all of the skin off of her face. She had to have like 20 years of like facial reconstruction surgery, and she's still not finished with it yet to this day. Like, it's 2020, and this happened in like the really, really late 90s, like 1998, 1999. Yeah, so
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I think I'm just sitting there thinking, like, all the time I'm wondering, like, what is going on in a deer's mind when it's just standing in the road, you know? Like, is it sitting there like, is that a car? What's a car?
It probably just sees the car and it's like, you food, welcome, haha.
What are lights? I'm just gonna stand here.
You would think deers would be used to humans by now. I mean, and I'm saying it like, deers are.
You mean like
you know,
over the course of evolution?
Yeah, over the course of like just being like existing. You think deers would just be used to like headlights and stuff and just be like, all right, maybe that's something I need to avoid. No. Deers will just, now where my grandpa lives, it's since it's his own private property, it's a lot of just open field and
Like
land. So
Livingston.
when they come out there, it's terrible. But I did see two where he lives in New York, which was crazy to me. I was like, that's insane. Because I don't know if anybody listening to this has ever been inside of the city, but if you see a deer inside of New York City, that is like the weirdest thing on the planet. Because that's just like, where did you come from? Where are you living? Where are you existing?
I think a
Because
lot of times
obviously,
a lot of times they're just looking for like garbage to eat. But how they would get
yeah.
over all the bridges is very strange to me.
Can you
Can you imagine a deer crossing the Brooklyn Bridge?
crossing? Right? Would it have to pay toll? I would probably. They probably. Dude,
Why would it have to pay toll? Why would
tolls
that
are
question even come to your
outrageous.
mind? No, of course it doesn't have to pay a toll. What would it pay a toll in? Salt licks or deer corn? Like what? Like just be like, "Hi, Mr. Toll Operator. I'm a deer and I can obviously speak English. Here's my brick of salt."
Right, here's my brick of salt. Um, right now things in New York are very terrible. My aunt was telling me that the news is making it way worse than it actually is. She was like, I mean, most people over here that have to return back to life, they have to. She drives Uber over there. So what she told me is that Uber and the TLC is basically the taxi licensing people in New York. So in most states that aren't cities, you're allowed to drive Uber without having proper taxi plates. But in places like New York, Washington D.C., the big cities, you have to go and actually get proper licensed plates to put on your car. So what she was telling me is, and they have like tens of thousands of insurance packages that you have to fill out and all that. What she was telling me was that a lot of those companies are saying we're not going to relieve you in anything like that because the federal government hasn't told us to relieve people. So you have to pay your insurance on time or it will get canceled or suspended. So there's a lot of different things going on here. I don't think people understand that the news isn't always 100% accurate. If the news is saying that the government is, like, oh yeah, people aren't going to get kicked out of their houses, people's insurances aren't going to get canceled, that's not true everywhere.
Well, they're doing like I'm pretty sure an extension on rent right now that you don't have to pay. Like you still are gonna have to pay, but you aren't responsible until the third month of this to pay your rent. It's I don't know what it is that they're doing. It's like a rent fee waiver in New York City right now. But I mean, like
Yeah.
even though the media is making it seem a lot worse, I'm actually pretty impressed and pretty happy with the way that Andrew Cuomo has been handling this. Normally Cuomo is not the greatest figure. Not very many people love him around here. Jersey, not very many people like him.
Many
But
people in the Brown community don't like him either. His policies haven't been the best.
I mean, I really got to give it to him though. He's been quite the a voice of reason throughout all of this, which like I said again, very surprising that he's been as level-headed about this as possible. And the one thing that I was a little kind of irritated with was when he was like, so everybody who's a doctor anywhere else but here, please come to New York. We need your help. I'm like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because part of the reason why we're doing all of this social distancing is because we don't want people cross-transferring the virus itself, not the bacteria, the virus itself, from person to person, and then bringing it back where they're from and making the problem a lot worse. But the big issue right now is that they think that only 4 out of 10 Americans are practicing the social distancing guidelines.
Which, if anybody's listening right now, please try to stay home the best you can. Now,
Yeah.
personally, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, well, I haven't gone out to see any of my friends lately. But also, our friends and all of us have followed pretty good social distancing guidelines to the point where it's like we've made sure that all of us have spent the 14 to 20 days that are needed to be away from people to show any type of symptoms. And then it's just us hanging out together. It's not like every other time there's somebody new with us. It's just us every single time. And yeah, that's not 100%. It's not going to prevent it 100%. Obviously, if one of us does have it and gets it randomly from going to a place, then it is going to get transferred into all of us. But there's ways to social distance and still be around other people if you really do need to be around other people. If it really does bother you that much, there are safe things that you can put into place. You can wear masks, you can do that.
Yeah.
Put yourself in a better situation. But obviously, masks don't mean that we don't need to social distance. I think a lot of that's been happening recently, where people have just been putting masks on and then just getting together, and it's not
Scarves
okay.
and bandanas and stuff. But I'm just like sitting there thinking, like, your bandana is not gonna prevent like you killing somebody's grandpa, you know? Like that's not gonna happen. The big thing for me though is that I went to Food Lion earlier today. That's one of the local grocery stores around here for all these for all yous up north. You know, down here in the boonies of Maryland, this far down south state that's so Confederate.
Yeah, we have Walmart here though, guys. So you know, Walmart.
The Dixieland of Salisbury.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to Food Lion earlier. It looks like communist Russia. It looks like communist Russia and every single grocery store. I have never seen the grocery store this empty of pork rinds. What? Under what circumstance did somebody need to go into Food Lion and buy every single bag of pork rinds?
And everybody needs to understand that every time right now that you're walking into a grocery store and walking out, you are being tallied, because everybody, and I don't know which states are requiring this right now and which aren't, but right now in our state, I'm pretty sure there's only 100 people allowed to be inside the store at a time, but it also depends on what size your store is, because 100 people in a store like Home Depot, which is huge.
That's nothing.
But like 100 people inside somewhere like our local Food Lion, which is a small time grocery store, is a lot worse. It's just,
I mean, if you for listeners that have like a Wegmans or a Walmart Supercenter or those Targets that are the size of small cities,
or like,
I'm trying to think of a big grocery store. A&Ps are
BJ's,
closer to the small.
Costco.
BJ, yeah. The Costco is another good one. For those of you that need the perspective on like what Food Lion is, it's like A&P. It's a lot smaller than a ShopRite. It's about the size of a Price Chopper. You know, it's a small grocery store. And let me tell you what, every other person was in there. No gloves, no mask. I mean, I came in there looking like I was out of a sci-fi movie with my black gloves and my mask on, all dressed like Hannibal Lecter had a baby with Dustin Hoffman in what's that? A pandemic movie, whatever the one it is. Epidemic. That's the one.
Epidemics, yeah. Epidemics.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's unbelievable to me how many people are just not getting it. How are you just not getting it?
And another thing, I want to ask, is your family buying anything weird? Because, people's families are out here buying the weirdest stuff. Like, there was no whipped cream the other day, which I was really confused about, because who bought all of that whipped cream? Like, it's so weird. There was no cream cheese, which, okay, I understand, like, cream cheese is bomb, so I would understand people.
I mean, cream cheese, you can put it in a quiche, you can put it in a cheesecake, you can put it on a bagel.
Cream? What are you doing with all the whipped cream? Like, I'm talking about the stuff you put on ice cream, fam. It's all gone.
Whippets? People are trying to find creative ways to stay intoxicated.
For the record, if you're stealing my whipped cream because you want to get high, you're the lowest form of human being on the planet, and I don't want to talk to you. That's all I'm going to say.
The lowest form of human being.
You are the lowest form of human being. Like,
there are people that are members of ISIS out there, and the people that buy whipped cream are the lowest on the totem pole for you. That's interesting.
The people that buy too much.
Yeah, that's real interesting. It goes to show where your morals lie. Whipped cream, more important than the preservation of human life.
And genocide.
Reporter gets his head chopped off by ISIS, and you're like, who bought all the whipped cream? That's funny.
No, no. Okay, well, in
Oh, I'm not supposed
perspective,
to touch my eyes. Whoops, gotta.
you can't touch your
Whoops.
eyes.
Let
You
me
know, fix it up
clean myself off here
with some holy
with some
water.
holy water.
With some holy trinity. How did everyone's Easter go? I hope everyone had a good Easter. I, being brown, don't celebrate Easter, so please, white man, tell me how your Easter went. Oh, wait, that doesn't matter.
We
Christian man.
thank you for respecting my culture. I can't remember what I think what did we eat last night? Um, well, my mom made us watch a movie that was like 3.5 hours long, uh, uh which is long. We had I'm trying to think of the meat that we ate. Oh yeah. She made a nice Islamic pork tenderloin, just like the kind that you eat every year for
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Instead of turkey, you eat all that pork. Um, no,
Yeah,
it's
fun fact, guys. Thanksgiving means brown people can eat pork.
yeah, it's once a year they can break everything that they've established for themselves and they stand for in purity. They can eat pork. It's so funny what you guys are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, and then it's just like, yeah, so you can do whatever you want, just eat pigs. You're done.
For the
But
record, there are two types of brown people in the world, right? There's ones that don't eat pork and then just like don't do anything else, and they're the good ones. And then there's the ones that are just like, yeah, we don't
the
eat
good
pork.
ones, that's very, you know, there's a lot of different types of brown out there, right? And you said only the good brown. We're gonna get this show taken off the air before the first episode gets finished.
No,
Oh my
okay, well,
gosh.
obviously, I don't mean like, okay, I should say like, what is this? Asian brown people?
Oh
Is
my
that what you
gosh.
classified? I can't even be physically like, I physically. You
Here's
ever
the
get those
thing.
things that you have to fill out, those papers, and you got to put on there like what your ethnicity is, and
Yeah,
like whenever I
they.
get to the thing, I always have to put Asian because like mine isn't on there.
I always get colonizer. They're always like, you know, what ethnicity are you? And you're like a scary woman hater. They really have to make sure that they put, what it is that, white men really are in the census.
Yeah, I was actually running outside one day, and I think I told you this story. It was right when this like the pandemic started, and didn't want to lose out on any of my gains, So I was out
I
here running. I was out here running, and this
like we want to
old
drink like hydrochloric acid sometimes.
this old like lady comes out, and I'm not gonna say her race, but she came out and she was like, "Hey, go back in your house. Oh, you're gonna give my young Christian grandkids corona." I
Get
was like,
out of here. She did not
what?
say young
No,
Christian
she said
grandkids.
young. Yo, I swear to you, this lady was like young Christian grandkids. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, and I just kept running. I was like, why?
You know
I was
what?
like,
That's
why?
that there's the true epiphany of the American dream there. Freedom to run outside of your house and yell at a Pakistani American, "You're going to get my Christian grandkids sick." I cannot that I don't believe that. Not for the life of me do I believe that ever happened.
Dude, I
Christian
swear to you.
grandkid.
She said Christian grandkids. That was the most defining part in the entire sentence she said. I was just kind of like, wow, okay. I mean, that. What if I was Christian? You never know. And I'd just be
Yeah.
like, all right, well, we're just gonna equally defend our. Okay,
Just be
that's
like,
fine
"Here,
by.
I got this for you. Here's my bottle of holy water."
Here's my bottle of holy water
Or
that I'm
even better, here's my packaged, sealed, dill flavored pickle Rick for you and your family to feast on when you're starving.
Dude, think about all that stock that isn't getting sold in all these retail locations that's just sitting there, probably collecting dust. Do you know how bad this is for like like Macy's, I'm sorry, dude. Macy's is probably gonna file bankruptcy after this, guys. Like you guys, Macy's is already on her like last leg. Macy's is probably going at
I
this
don't
point.
know. Macy's isn't. Macy's only closed, I think, about 30 of their locations nationwide, and it was in small towns just like ours. I think the big problem is the fact that, it's not so much that there's stock sitting around. Most companies have contingency plans that protect them for like a year or something. I'm worried about the economy as a whole after maybe 3 months of this. 3 whole months of complete, like a complete and total lack of productivity and industrialization. I do not think that this country is going to be able to survive 3 more months of this, or up to 3 months of
No.
this.
And that's the scary part. I mean, if you want to just take an example, look at the prices of houses and look at the prices of cars. All right, cars have dropped $8,000 in value within the last month, and that's insane. That's 1 month. And then let's
Did
look
you
at
say
houses. I mean,
3,000?
$8,000. I'm telling you, there
8,000.
are vehicles, there are BMWs and like used Mercedes right now that usually go for $35,000 that are probably sitting in the low 20s, and people are just going crazy. And then think about this: most dealerships right now are doing 120 days no payments, so you don't gotta pay for your car for three months. So they're already losing, let's just say, average car payment is around $400. They're losing $1,200 right there automatically. 3 months of you not paying your payments. And then a lot of the companies are willing to pay for your gas. All of this money is coming from somewhere. And a lot of these dealerships they're gonna get screwed.
Right now, I just Googled basically what a general overview of the economy during the Great Depression looked like. In the United States, where the Depression was generally the worst, industrial production between 1929 and 1933 fell by nearly 47%. Gross domestic product declined by 30%, and unemployment reached more than 20%. Apparently, 6.1 million claims are made a day for unemployment right now. So I really don't even know what that looks like. So let's
Pretty
see.
sure we're at a lower rate of unemployment than it was during the Great Depression.
I want to see what the um, U.S. economic outlook, whatever the balance.com is. We'll just look at that. It seems believable. Uh, oh my gosh. Okay, so it
It's
says that most states have asked all businesses to close unless they are deemed essential, such as grocery stores. As a result, the gross domestic product growth rate could fall as much as 50%. That's about the depth experienced during the Great Depression, but it shouldn't last as long. And unemployment could be as high as 30%. That's 10% higher than the Great Depression.
So yeah, that really puts things into perspective from from the point of just staying, how important it is to stay home right now, because the government is literally killing itself right now, and the economy is killing itself just so you guys can stay home. If you're gonna go out, then I say openly go out and die on road somewhere, because you do not need to be endangering other people's lives. All right, the world is going around killing its economy, and it's not just the United States, it's the entire world right now, the
Except
economy
except
everywhere.
for Korea. Korea is going to be the first country apparently to recover.
Probably is. And then
The
probably
South Korea, not North Korea.
I 100% still think China has a medicate a I'm not even gonna get on this right now.
I
China
was
has
actually I was actually
100%.
legitimately about to ask you about that. I mean, like I was watching this this news event last night that went up in Australia. I want to say about 2 weeks ago, um, and how they were saying that there were very few, comparatively speaking, but there are around 5,000 cases of the coronavirus that were undocumented in China from November to January. Now, that's a very, very large number, but it also kind of makes sense as to why the whole world got infected all at once, and we didn't know about it until very late February, very early March. I mean, my family has had us all on lockdown for an entire month right now. I mean, that just goes to show how long this has been going on. But You know, the virus itself has like millions of cases worldwide, and of course, it's you know the mortality rate is a lot lower. You know, it doesn't kill as many people as other global pandemics have. It's just the fact that it's such an unprecedented way that the world has just completely erupted into this respiratory virus. We weren't prepared to handle it, and that's the problem. It's not so much that everybody's getting infected; it's the fact that we weren't prepared to handle it is the problem. And I don't think how do you prevent something like this? You just don't, because you can predict that another pandemic is going to happen in 2020 or 2021. You could predict that. You could say in 1980, based upon the way that a bell curve looks on the way that pandemics happen and when they occur and how often they happen, you can easily predict that, in 2020 there's going to be a pandemic. But you can't predict that it's going to be a respiratory infection. You can't predict that it was going to be something that was spreadable within 6 feet. You can't predict stuff like that. You can't figure out like all of the different things that this virus was going to entail. You didn't know that it was going to look exactly like influenza until it happens. And people are trying to brush it off as the flu. And I will say, I was one of the people that tried to brush it off as an influenza, and that it was being blown out of proportion. I still think it's kind of being blown out of proportion, but it's because there are people that are not following the simple guidelines. And the thing that I'm most worried about, though, I'll say this. The thing I'm most worried about is the fact that life is never going to go back to normal because of all these people that refuse to operate within these laws of social distancing, this structure that we've been trying to develop over the past month. I don't think it's ever going to be the same.
It's definitely not looking good right now with the way things are set up. This is 100% way worse than H1N1, which, if anybody doesn't know what H1N1 is, it was the swine flu that came around 2009?
I want to say 2008. I want to say 2008 or 2009, and then MERS was 2015.
SARS was it? SARS, yeah.
SARS was before swine flu.
Oh yeah, it was SARS. Was it? It was. What was it? It was the Spanish flu, then SARS, then.
No, Jesus. The Spanish flu was all the way back in 1914. This was right after World War I. I'm pretty sure the numbers were that 46 million people were killed in World War I. 51 million people were killed in World War II, and I'm pretty sure that was something like 300 million people were killed by the Spanish flu. Let me see. Spanish flu death toll.
How we were talking, it is definitely way worse than H1N1. It's way easier to catch compared to H1N1, and it's not a strain of the influenza. It's it's its own relic.
The confirmed cases of the Spanish flu were 500 million, and it was 50 million people that died during the Spanish flu. So that means it was probably something like 11 million people during World War I, and like 17 million people during World War II, and then it was 15 million people that were killed during the Spanish flu breakout. But I mean, this is not the Spanish flu.
No, obviously. But this is like the first pandemic of the social media era, which a lot of people were saying, well, H1N1 didn't get this type of coverage, so it must be worse. That's not 100% true when it comes to coverage. A lot of the times what happened with H1N1 was I'm pretty sure it was in the news for a couple of weeks, and then like some big political scandal happened and it got like kicked out of the news. But right now with coronavirus, everybody is reporting on it. Everybody. And when I say everybody, I don't mean like news outlets and that. No. Now everybody means news outlets, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, freaking TikTok, dude. Anything and everything that can get its hands on this virus is getting on it, and it's really spreading panic. Even things like this podcast. I mean, people are listening to things related to the coronavirus because it's something that scares people because they don't understand what it is and where it's coming from. I think a lot of people need to just educate themselves just a little bit because, like, let's say in the news today it said that a new symptom of coronavirus is what is it, buzzing in the body. So you'll feel like buzz and tingles and things like that. That's crazy. I mean, that's like just the most random thing ever. And like the
How do you even?
previous, you
I
can't
just
smell
want to know how
anything.
you diagnose buzzing. How do you diagnose buzzing? What even is that? Let's look up. Let's look
You
up
might
the
just have
list of.
Tourette's. You might just have Tourette's, guys. If anybody has Tourette's, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, dude! I've been watching like so many sad videos of just people with like mental illnesses for some reason because of this virus. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the only thing popping up on my Facebook feed, but that's all that pops up.
Where did you see this?
The
This buzzing.
Dude, look up like new symptoms of coronavirus and then look up buzzing.
Oh my gosh, you can't just go based off of some like wiki page.
It wasn't
New
a
symptoms
it wasn't a
of.
wiki page. I saw it on Snap News, dude. I saw it on the what's it called? What is it?
I
What is the
listen.
Snapchat
I'm just
news
gonna
app?
cut you off right there. I found this buzzing on Snapchat news. Get out of here.
What was it called? I forgot what it's called.
No, it's the Now This America or something.
Yeah, something like that.
He's a really informative guy, but he has to smash like days worth of news in like minutes because nobody. My problem with Snapchat is nobody has enough attention, enough of an attention span to watch the news if you're below the age of 18. I mean,
You know, that's crazy. The fact that like now you can find the news on things like Snapchat, it's crazy. Like
that's terrifying to think about for me.
it is definitely a different age now. And you know, things like Zoom and like Skype and they make it like so easy to just do stuff like that. It's
Did you see that
has
there's apparently a lot of like connection breaches of Zoom?
Dude, for the record, if you're that person, there's a Reddit page for it, where people post their Zoom login and get people trying to log into their classes just to like mess with their professors.
Okay,
Poor professors, and I
that's
feel so
kind
bad
of
for them
funny.
right now.
You already know how I feel about college, but I mean, listen, if that's what people are talking about, that there are like Zoom breaches, that's kind of hilarious. But but I've heard that it's like a lot of it's a lot of like Chinese interception has happened during all of these Zoom calls because yes, Zoom's been around for a while, but all of a sudden the miracle FaceTime app Zoom just pops out of nowhere during the wake of the
Yeah,
coronavirus and
that
public
is
schools
true.
just decide
I've
to use them.
never heard of Zoom. Like, I never heard of Zoom before this ever
Pretty
in my
sure you
life.
can add up to like 20 people on a FaceTime call now, can't you?
You can add a lot of people to a lot of stuff. You can have a lot of people active on something at the same time. I remember when group FaceTime was like, we had what's it called? What was that app called? I forgot what it.
House party.
House Party. That was one. There was another app. It was called. I don't remember what it was called. I remember. See, we up here in the Maryland, we got some ghetto applications up in here. I'm talking about the stuff that we used to use in middle school.
You mean Uvu or
Uvu, that's what it was.
or
Uvu.
Kick?
Oh, Kick was stupid.
Kick
Kick
used to get me in trouble.
Kick filed bankruptcy a couple months ago.
Everybody who has their Kick accounts gets to keep them, but everybody else, they can't make a new account because the servers are down. The servers have only been left open for the people that have the accounts. And that's kind of funny to me to think about. I'll go and see if I can log into mine and see if it still exists. But
we can talk about dead applications in another podcast and be like, yeah, see what died over the last like 10 years. But my personal favorite app that stopped working was like what's that thing called? Omegle, dude. Omegle.
It didn't stop working. It
Uh,
still
It,
exists.
it, it still exists. People don't get on it like they used to. Like I'm talking about when people used to get on it and you could actually find normal people. Now you just find inappropriate stuff. But when you could actually find normal people on there, there are the digital age is really, really great. It's definitely ruined like online dating and stuff.
It's not even
Yeah,
it's not even that. I think it's really more or less ruined our abilities to have conversations because everybody's just so impatient. We can't sit here and have, we're going on an hour in about 10 minutes. You know, there aren't very many people that can handle an hour's worth of conversation.
which
You
is
know?
why we're try to make these podcasts no more than an hour because there's people that are like that can't deal with 1 hour of just talking. Some people just can't deal with 1 hour of constant speech. Even if you're going somewhere, like I know some people that like if you put a podcast on when they're driving somewhere, they can't listen to it. Perfect example is my cousin, which he has other reasons why he can't listen. But
Yeah, we're not gonna go into those.
we're not going to touch into those right now. But um, he cannot fathom having conversations for like an hour straight. Like if you're sitting there talking to him, there has to be like a 20 to 30-minute pause where he could just stop talking, just be quiet, and just
Just sit
focus
there
on
and
one thing.
just meditate.
Meditate,
Just
yeah,
de-stress.
de-stress, because yeah, people can't talk. I don't know how many of you have been on a date recently, but
Yeah, about a month ago was probably the last time anybody went on a date.
well, 1 month ago, did you go on a date with anybody new and were they able to hold a conversation with, not you, I'm not talking about you because I don't want to get punched in the face, but we're talking to our
I'm gonna
viewers.
punch you in the
And
face.
I'm not talking about you, but
I wasn't even. I didn't even think that you were gonna be talking about me. Not for a second did I think,
good.
oh, Abdullah is gonna mention me. No,
Yeah, it's not like we're having a one-on-one conversation, so I'm not gonna
yeah,
mention you.
no. It's not like we're the only people that are recording this show right now.
Yeah, there are only people recording and watching us. Yes, we're super conceited guys. We're watching and recording at the same time.
Yeah, we're so full of ourselves. We're looking at mini images of us and popped up in the corner of our Skype call.
And there's just like that effect where it's like, oh, there's a screen inside a screen inside a screen. It's crazy. People
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely an age where attentiveness has completely been destroyed. And I'll say this though, working in the wireless industry, I mean, you and I both have experience with the way that connections work. Um, my big thing is, I think, and now I'm not gonna buy into the whole 5G and the coronavirus. They go hand in hand. Somebody put
Oh,
those
so
5G towers.
good.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the British people that were tearing down the towers, and mind you, not engaging in socially distanced practices. They
Right.
all got in public together, and they tore down those towers. They were trying to tear down 5G towers because they thought that 5G was spreading the coronavirus. Now, how hysterical is that? That is so funny. But either way, I was getting ready to say that I think that, with this attentiveness problem, it's only going to get worse because of 5G. Now, I don't think there are going to be a lot of ways where they can make connection even faster than they already are. But 5G is supposed to answer the problem of, it's supposed to be the solution to the problem of instantaneousness. The second that you start typing in a Google search, it starts generating answers for you already. Now, it's the minute that you it's the minute that you start typing things in that Google has an answer for you. Now it's going to be the seconds that you start typing something in that Google is going to have answers for you. The second you're done typing your Google search, you won't see a buffering bar. It's just going to be there for you because it's already done the searches for you. That is going to be a disaster. Are you kidding me? People are
Yeah.
already impatient as it is. Like 30 seconds is too long to some people. 5 seconds is going to be too long for people soon. I'm so not ready for this. I'm so not ready for this.
We used to work at Metro by T-Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, and there was this one day where all of the towers, for some reason, like, or the closest tower near us stopped working. When I tell you, we had floods and floods of people coming
It
in
was
every
all day.
second because they were like, "Yo, I can't answer, I can't ask," and their phone service wasn't down. It was just slow. I can't get on Facebook, honey, fast enough. I can't see my stuff fast enough. Like, ma'am, it's just towers are slow right now, man. We
I
can't really.
love the ones that were
Anybody
like
that
that were
works in
like
retail, anybody that works in retail, man, well, I give you credit. We deal with people that we shouldn't have to.
so I remember my favorite ones were the customers that were like, I'll be paying Metro $60 a month. They shouldn't be. My service shouldn't be slow. I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking like, you pay Metro $60 a month for your plan and Amazon Prime. It's a good deal. It's not the best service, but it's a good deal. And then I'm sitting here paying Verizon like $90 a month for my watch, my phone, and my plan with Apple Music for free, which isn't free. It's like $10, but it's just included in my plan. It's so silly.
On the other hand, well, you get a nice big boy Verizon discount now, but on my
I
end
should
of
be.
the,
It should be kicking in soon, which I'm very excited about. It's supposed to cut it 50% with the exception of device payment agreements. So if I wanted to put the new, say, once the iPhone 12 rolls around and I wanted to put that on my plan, I would only have to pay. Say my service is $80, it'd be $40 for my service, and if my device payment is $20 a month, I just have to cover the $20. But I'm used to paying like $90 a month, so if I get back up to $60 a month, that's no problem.
yeah,
Ain't no problem. That's on God, baby girl.
my phone bill right now is $200. Now, of course, I do have my actual physical AT&T phone, my iPhone, and my iPad Pro. Also, on top of that, I have the DirecTV service from them just for me personally.
Wow, DirecTV. How awful is it? Isn't it the worst?
It's terrible, but it's good to have for me. It doesn't give me any problems because I'm the only one in the house using it, so it's not bad for me. But it's definitely not the best thing
When
ever. But all bundled together for $200, it's not bad.
when I met this character during my training month with Verizon. His name is Mark, and he said that he sold DirecTV like it was nobody's business. He said, so I got promoted to sales manager because I thought I got a sales pitch down. I was super excited to get it all done. I was selling DirecTV left and right, and I thought, man, I really am a sales manager. I'm great. I'm making everybody's lives better. And he said the next month everybody was coming back trying to return all of their DirecTV handsets, and I felt like I was the manager of ruining people's lives.
The bad thing is a lot of sales, especially with where we worked with Metro. A lot of it is we're not going to give out Metro secrets. Definitely not. We're definitely going to get some type of something.
Defamation claim. We're gonna get a
Yeah,
letter sent to my house saying you were a former employee. You are not allowed to be talking about the
I'm just gonna get
rules and the tricks of the trade.
But let's just say with every sales job, there are obviously ways that we are told to sell things to our customers, and I think most logical people understand that's why people think car salesmen are crappy people, even though we are not. But well, I am not. But people come around expecting a deal, and a lot of the times, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the things we do give out are deals. I think with Metro had really good packages. It wasn't the best service.
No, you got
Um,
what you paid for.
you got what you paid for. You paid $60 and you got Amazon Prime for free, and you got 1,000 gig. I think it was 1,000. Was it 100 or 1,000 gigabytes.
No, it was 100 gigabytes of cloud storage for
Cloud
free with
storage
Google, and
from
then
Google.
after that, it was unlimited talk, text, and data.
And
So
you get a 15 gigabyte hotspot. You basically get all the stuff that people paying $90 to $100 with Verizon and AT&T get for $60 and 2 lines, 2 phone services, $80. Dude, I'm paying
you got phones for
$200 right
free and
now.
everything. Yeah.
For $200, it would have cost me $200 to pay for one phone and one tablet. Literally, with Metro, it costs I think $100 for one phone, one tablet.
It's crazy.
So
I
I
remember,
mean,
yeah.
it's not saying that Metro didn't offer deals, but obviously, you get what you paid for, and those customers that come in and they're just kind of like, I want a deal. I hated those people because, like, where do you get off thinking that I owe you anything?
My favorite thing to say was when they were like, "You got any sales?" I would always say, "Everything's always on sale."
Well, I figured out how to sell like anything to anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
I was
you know,
definitely scamming.
if there was a way to sell water to a speedboat, I'm sure we'd figure it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. There was a lot of selling related things that we really picked up on, and that's why I think I'm gonna apply that when I get to the car dealership, which is gonna be a whole nother sales related kick in the face. That's
You gotta
gonna be
overcharge. You gotta oversell so that you can think everybody's getting you getting a deal from good old Mr. Siddiqui. You know,
insane. I
you
think he
say
wants to
this
hire
car is $25,000, but I can get it to you for the crispy price of 21 today.
Right, literally. He literally told me during the training, he was like, "Yeah, I want to tell you that over here in the card industry, we do not spend our customers' money. From the way you're making it sound, you guys spend your customers' money." It's like,
Jeez, that's kind of offensive.
dude, the I'm not even gonna feel bad about this, dude. Delaware sucks. I'm sorry if
Where did that
you
even come from?
if you're from Delaware, I'm so sorry, dude. You guys are terrible people. I'm just gonna.
Whoa! All right, congratulations. We definitely got this episode off to a great start. Jeez, Abdullah.
I'm joking. Obviously, love everybody viewing from Delaware. I can't say anything because I
Oh
got a
my
bay in
God.
Delaware, so can't. I said bay. Oh my god, dude. Do you know that word died? I have a squeeze in Delaware, guys. But
Oh, that's I don't know what's worse, what you just said. I don't know what's worse. All right. Wow. Cool. Okay, so on that note, so it's been an hour. I don't think this was the most productive conversation you and I have ever had. None
No.
of our conversations are ever productive, but we
No.
have to find a way. So I definitely think that it can only get better from here. We had to break the ice somewhere, and we got Wednesday to hopefully get some suggestions from people. Open your snaps as suggestions to topics to talk about on the podcast. Open up your Instagram, start a poll. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm not on Instagram anymore, but I'm not on Twitter anymore either.
I'll definitely set up some polls.
Yeah, start asking around some kind of conversation that should be had. We can have some guests on maybe in the coming future.
Definitely.
We can
I'm
add
pretty
some
sure
people.
You can have Skype group, FaceTime, or
Yeah.
group. So
Yeah.
even if that requires me to like buy something, Skype isn't really expensive, so it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
believe
So,
you would.
but yeah, I mean, I think we got off to a good start. Only can get better from here. Only can get better from here. Yep.
And that's on God, baby girl.
Oh my God. All right. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning
Watching.
in. If you're listening, if you're watching, thanks for spending some time with us. An hour is no small amount of time. No small amount of time anymore. And so we really appreciate you giving us a chance on this evening. I think Wednesday we'll try and get it up closer to the afternoon.
Yeah, somewhere closer in the
Unless we film it Tuesday night, upload it Wednesday morning. Whatever you want to do tomorrow night. But yeah, so we'll hopefully have a very consistent upload schedule. We'll get some stuff out there, and it can only get better from here.
Yep. You guys stay safe, stay indoors.
Yeah,
Please
stay
don't go
home,
unless
please.
Please give us a summer, because believe me, honest to God, I know those stupid Instagram posts piss you guys off. It pisses me off too when people are like, yeah, if 50% of the people stayed home, we would be out of here in 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. That stuff is stupid, but it is true that the longer you guys stay home and the more people that stay home, the less this will spread and the faster we can get out of this.
Yeah, so on that note, join us as we're quarantined. Stay quarantined, please. I think that natural selection is definitely going to take care of people who don't necessarily want to follow the guidelines. But I mean, come on. If you got you got one head on your shoulder, you got 2 ears on your head, just stay home. Just stay home. You got a brain between those 2 ears and behind those eyes. Just listen and follow the simple guidelines. Wash your hands. Limit your family time to about 10 people. Limit your exposure to other people and maintain 6 feet. This is going to change the world, guys. And so if we can get out of this sooner or later, we are all in this together. I hate when everybody says the whole like, we're in this together, but right now we are. Everybody's got to do their part. Everybody's got to do the part. Don't go to Walmart if you don't have to. Go to Walmart if you need groceries.
Don't die if you don't need to, guys.
That's the best advice I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome. That's like the best ending point.
Yeah. So, all right. And once again, this has been Life During Quarantine. And hopefully we'll have you all tuned in on Wednesday.
Yes, sir. And that's on God, baby girl.
Alrighty, folks. Good night.